this last part of these 3 videos, we move to discussion and the implications, and the conceptual framework will guide this part. Teachers as agents interact, seeking emergence. This is seen as the means to address problems of practice in the complex environment of the innovative learning environment, where there are no guidebooks or formulas for success. Rather, teams iterate, negotiate, apply trial and error, test and refine. I will look at this from the perspective of the intersecting postures: to build social capital, to identify positive deviance, and to apply abductive reasoning. The accompanying slides will highlight quotes from the research participants for you to read. As one teacher said, it's always team, team, team. Amongst team members, there was a shared responsibility and agency. Teachers valued common understandings and expectations across the team. Critical to the success of the team is building social capital amongst the members. The value of teachers being on the same page was raised a number of times. A foundation of genuine trust was seen as important. As one principal said, especially when things get spiky. Shared professional experiences such as PD and visits to other schools provided opportunities for interactions amongst teachers as agents as they learn together. In complex environments, identifying positive deviance allows for positive norm-departing behaviour. An opportunity to diverge from the taken for granted assumptions, it allows for the emergence of uncommon practices. In complex problems, there might be multiple plausible options. Identifying positive deviance means looking for bright spots in unexpected places, rather than maintaining existing practices. This invites a strategy then, where teachers' teams with social capitals bring their observation and experiences of positive deviance to chart a path forward through the application of abductive reasoning, which grounds the principles of design. This means of reasoning doesn't constrain the designer to pass proof, nor does it rely on reason-free guessing, but takes a middle ground. Teachers can draw on their use of professional instinctive judgment, taking evidence and knowledge into account to make a logical leap. A design process can facilitate abductive reasoning. Teachers in the study seem to apply these processes intuitively, while our work at Mountain resulted in design engage tools and workshops which facilitated a collaborative approach for the teacher team to address problems of practice by design. The principles in the study reinforced many of the sentiments expressed by teachers and understood their roles as culture builders, being trans-relational, empowering agents, and adopting non-hierarchical postures to encourage bottom-up innovation. As complex adaptive systems, schools represent an interdependent network of interactive elements that learn and evolves in adapting to an ever-shifting context. My conclusion is that the application of simple causal linear solutions to complex problems of practice become increasingly unhelpful. So what are the implications of this research? Taking consideration from the data of the studies presented here, I have identified implications for teachers and principals. I'll return to the research question to frame this, that is, surfacing factors which impact the ongoing success and sustainability of workplace change for teachers in ILEs. As I developed this question, the concept of the ILE as the teacher workplace resonated deeply. So often it is viewed as the place of learning for children and young people, when in fact, it is also a workplace for adults. The ILE, however, represents positive deviance as well, in my opinion, as it strays from the accepted norm, but with honourable intentions, a future-focused orientation for student learning. With this in mind, I've identified 3 factors which can impact the success and sustainability from the teacher's perspective, and 3 considerations for principals. Regarding the teachers, it is the teacher mind frame of a designer, the team as a work unit, and the workplace as both front stage and backstage. I'll go through each of these now. Brown and Katz suggest that design begins with gathering interested people who have a problem to solve. Understanding abductive reasoning to underpin design encourages teachers to address complex problems of practice through employing reasoned professional judgment. It involves an openness to trial and error and engaging in design in the doing. Designers appreciate that the rapport among the group members is significant to progress their idea, which leads to the next factor, that of the team as the work unit. Central to this notion of developing a working consensus, successful teams in the research reinforce the importance of being on the same page in terms of their own shared vision, values, and expectations as they work together in the ILE. And finally, the workplace as both front stage and backstage draws on Goffman's dramaturgical metaphor. As an audience member, when I'm immersed in a play on a stage, I might feel so engaged in the drama that I actually feel like I'm part of the action on the stage. How much of the quality of that front stage performance relates to the time and efforts that actors spend backstage in connecting with it as a cast, workshopping, learning about the context and their character, and rehearsing. Metaphorically, the teacher team is seen as the cast of a play. The quality of the theatrical production on the front stage is directly related to the time spent backstage. I'm suggesting that the quality of the backstage work of the teacher team is of immense value to the student experience when they are front stage. It is the place where teachers can engage in design, reach shared understandings, grapple with problems of practice, and reach a working consensus. That in the front stage mode, they can consistently implement decisions and actions which emerged, prototyping whilst critiquing and reflecting. The three teacher impacts are related. As the teacher adopts a designer mind frame, they work as a design team, and they value their work at the front stage and the backstage. In my thesis, I suggest that the use of shared tools to facilitate how teams might develop a working consensus, apply design to address problems of practice, and strategically utilize the front stage and the backstage to progress the emergence of innovation. It is suggested that these shared artifacts, such as a team board, can be used to help teachers be on the same page. And a shared project board might facilitate the design mind frame through engaging in problem surfacing, solution texting, prototyping, and reflecting in practice. Then there are considerations for principals when supporting teacher transformation to innovative learning environments. Firstly, clarity and communication of vision. Vision begins with seeing the ILE as a response to a future-focused learning needs of students, then creating ongoing impetus of the need for change. One principal acknowledged that it was not possible to bring all staff along with the vision simultaneously. However, to support transformation, teachers were afforded opportunities such as coaching to encourage steps toward change. The next is being culture builder. As a response to the vision, the seemingly default practice of the solo teacher gives way to the team as the culture. As the innovative learning environment is designed for a multi-class orientation, the work of the teacher needs to reflect this and the culture shaped accordingly. Critical to this is the posture of the principal, and reinforcing trust is foundational. Evidence in amplifying a transrelational style and dampening hierarchical leadership postures, thus making way for emergence through bottom-up led innovation. And finally, resourcing the journey. This is about making the vision and culture a sustainable reality. The provision of resources include affording time for teacher teams, backstage work, provision of strategic growth initiatives such as coaching, and acknowledging that there is a financial cost to the transformation strategy beyond the infrastructure costs that came with the innovative spatial design. I'll conclude this seminar by suggesting further research. There are a number of research directions which come to mind. A longitudinal study into embedding teacher team experience and its impact on future focused student learning. Elaboration on the expertise that teachers as designers can acquire, and the development of non-hierarchical school leadership models. So as I conclude, Along the way, a colleague commented to me that sometimes you find a theory and sometimes a theory finds you. As I read about complexity theory, I realized that it was a theory that found me. It caused me to think deeply about many aspects of life as I've lived this COVID-impacted hermit existence over the last 2 years. So I'd like to leave you with one last quote from Henry Mencken, one of the most influential American writers of the 20th century. For every complex problem, there is an answer that is clear, simple, and wrong. Thank you so much for spending the time just to listen to this and watch it and to engage with my PhD research. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear things that resonated with you, questions that you might have had. Probably the best way to do that is through one of the social media channels. Just my name, I will put that in the notes at the bottom of the YouTube feed, but I'd love to hear from you, hear about what you think, see if this works, see if there's anything here that you vehemently disagree with. But once again, thank you so much for engaging with me on this. Bye.